Hello, today is Wednesday, it's the 2nd of June, and I thought I'd give you a little bit of an update on news from Mallorca, where actually we're eagerly awaiting the news from the UK. So tomorrow, which is the 3rd of June, the government is supposed to be discussing and working out what's going to happen as far as the traffic light system is concerned, and be announcing that probably for the 10th of June. So tomorrow afternoon, Thursday afternoon, we should be getting that information. Again, everyone here is hoping that we'll go onto the green list, but there is a fear that we won't, because the Baleares is being grouped with the whole of Spain. The rates of tests here are very, very low. We haven't had one death in the last 12 days. Mallorca is really a very, very safe place for anyone to come on their holidays. So I really hope that we do get put onto that green list, and then people from the UK will be able to come and enjoy their holidays. But news from Mallorca is that we've been announced some new restrictions, or at least the relieving of some of the old restrictions. And so we've gone down to what is now going to be level 1, at least we will do from Sunday. So Sunday is the day when things begin to change, and these will run through till June the 21st, which coincidentally coincides with the date set by Boris Johnson when everything is supposed to be lifted in the UK. Well, again, we'll have to wait and see what happens in the UK, but as far as Mallorca is concerned, beaches are pretty much open as normal. They just closed between 10 o'clock at night and 6 o'clock in the morning. Some things which have changed which don't really affect tourists, like funerals, weddings and baptisms, although Mallorca has become something of a centre for weddings. People come here to have their weddings, and the number of people at weddings has been increased. 50 outdoors, 20 indoors. Still doesn't make a proper wedding, or not quite right yet, so I'm guessing people will still hold off on their weddings. Dance academies can start up and continue with bigger numbers, so they have been open, but they were limited to 20, now they can go up to 25. And activities which guided activities, they are increasing the numbers as well. So everything is just sort of increasing, and people are being given a little bit more freedom. In the sports, people are more attendance can take part, and more spectators are going to be allowed. So things are gradually easing. Things like cinemas, circuses, they're allowing more people into those as well. Theatres, auditoriums, all of those sorts of things as well. Shops, they're allowed now to go to full capacity, and they can open more or less normal times. Gambling and betting, that's down to 50% capacity. That wouldn't affect me, I'm not a gambler at all. Children's entertainment, they're these places where children can go and play, these centres for children I think it means, they're expecting to have only 50% of their normal capacities, and there are limits to the numbers. Things that Mallorca's becoming quite well known for are conferences, so people come up from all over the world to attend conferences here, and they are being now allowed to get bigger and bigger, though the government is encouraging people to do them electronically. Have your Zoom meeting, unless of course you're a doctor or in your healthcare profession, and they are allowing those to a maximum of 1,000 people. So health conferences do have a different scenario to other people. What has changed, and what people will be more interested in perhaps, is what's happening in bars and restaurants. At the moment we can have a lunch in a restaurant or a bar on the interior, but not in the evenings. Exteriors can be open all through the day, closing 11:30 at night. Well, that's all going to change this weekend, when insides will be able to open, and the extension to the hours is going to be till midnight. So that will give us a little bit more time to go for a longer lunch or an evening meal, and that means that bars and restaurants will be open almost normally. There is still some limitations, and that's how many people can actually sit, and on the inside that's not going to change. You can still only have a table of 4. We went to lunch with our family at the weekend, and there were actually 5 of us, but we sneaked one onto the end of the table. Don't tell anybody. Also, there's a limit to the number of, even on the outside, if it's a really big restaurant, then 250 is going to be the maximum. Hotels, lots and lots more hotels are opening up. I'm concentrating mainly on the Palma Nova and Magaluf area because that's where we were and last weekend, and we saw quite a few places that were opening, and I've been reading on Facebook that some more are being opened over the next few days and next weekend in anticipation of more and more people coming on holiday. When we were in Palma Nova and Magaluf, I did actually speak to some of the people in the hotel, and no British people, or very few British people here, but the hotels do have an occupancy, and they tend to be French, German, Polish, Belgian, Dutch, Scandinavian. So lots of different nationalities are here, and they are in Palma Nova and they are in Magaluf. It's just that at the moment we don't seem to have many from the UK. Though I did have a message from Teesside, and the message from Teesside was that an aeroplane had taken off with a bit of a fanfare by the sounds of things. It was featured on the local television because it was heading off to Mallorca, taking people on holiday. It wasn't full, but it's a step in the right direction. Those people who do come on holiday face no restriction coming into Mallorca if you're coming from the UK. No tests, no quarantine, you can just simply arrive here. But going back, depending on what the traffic light system is, at the moment we're on the amber list, and you have to quarantine, you have to have your PCR test before you leave the island, and you'll have to book 2 tests when you get back. It all makes it very expensive, and I've heard of families spending a fortune. So some people have been asking me how easy is it to get a PCR test here. That will, if you're in a hotel, I'm sure the hotel's going to point you in the right direction. If you're not in a hotel, you're in some other sort of accommodation, you're staying with friends, there are lots of clinics. I walked past 2 or 3 in Palma Nova, and they've got signs outside, PCR tests, and then there was a phone number or an email address where you could book it in advance, which I think would be a good idea, so that you know you're definitely going to get it before you leave. So it's all looking a lot more promising on that front. We also seen in the newspapers that cruises are going to be starting up later on this month. So some of the big cruise liners are going to be coming into Palma, and it looks as though they've got schedules going all the way through the summer. People are going to be very nervous about that, but it's a step in the right direction, so long as it's very well controlled. The cruise liners themselves, I believe, are going to have very limited numbers on board, and the people will be tested. So hopefully when they come to Mallorca, things will be safe. On the weather front, we had a storm last night, at least so the newspaper tells me. We did hear a little bit of thunder and we saw some rain, but the newspaper said there was a big loud electric storm in Palma, and some of the teachers we work with were telling us about the terrible electric storm. Did you hear it last night? Well, that must be an advantage of being deaf. I didn't hear that at all. From the sports front, Mallorca are promoted. I'm sure all of you know that now. I've said it enough times. Mallorca missed by 1 goal not being the champions of the second division, but that would have been just the icing on the cake. The actual aim was to get up into La Liga, and they've done that, so they're now off on their holidays. We'll be regrouping because the league starts again in August, so not far off now. So thanks for watching, and if you haven't already subscribed, it's a good idea to subscribe, because I don't really know when I'm going to make these news updates or post any other videos. I work full time, and so it's not always easy to make a video or prepare it and to put it up on YouTube. So please do hit that subscribe button, and you get a bit of a notification from YouTube when I've uploaded a new video. Share it with your friends, because that's a good way of passing the news around, and if you like it, give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.